Court affirms Ganduje's suspension as corruption hearing commences in Kano. PDP National Working Committee passes vote of confidence on Damagun. Protesters storm national headquarters. Katsina government seals filling stations for selling fuel to bandits. On the foreign scene, United Nations Libya envoy Abdullahi Batili steps down amid mediation struggles. Hello again and welcome to the news update on Trust Television. I am Aisha Salihu. Now the news in full. Kano State High Court, sitting in Audu Bako Secretariat, has fixed May 29 for ruling on whether the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, and 6 other accused can be served through ex parte order. This follows the inability of the Kano State government to serve criminal charges on the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, his wife, son, and 5 others on Wednesday, stalled the much-anticipated arraignment of the accused before a Kano High Court. Ganduje and 6 others were arraigned before the court this Wednesday on allegation of financial misappropriation while serving as governor of Kano State, but the arraignment could not take place because the respondents could not be served personally. Parties in the suit as respondents are Abdullahi Ganduje, Hafsat Umar, Abubakar Baoro, Umar Abdullahi Umar, Jibrila Mohammed, Lamash Properties Limited, Safari Textiles Limited, and Lesage General Enterprises. Kano State government, in the criminal suit filed against the 8 respondents, said it has assembled 15 witnesses to appear before the court. The presiding judge, Justice Usman Naaba, however, directed that one of the respondents be put on notice after his client argued that the law provided that the accused must be served personally before arraignment.
On the 29th of May, yes, we are coming to hear whether, 29th of April, whether or not the defendant should be served by placing it in the newspaper. This is what we are coming to.
Because the service of the court process is an entirely duty of the court bailiffs. You cannot arraign somebody that you didn't serve with the charge sheet. You have to serve him with the charge sheet before arraigning him before a court. It did not refuse our application, but rather said we should put one of the parties on notice.
Notice?
Yes.
Not on ex parte?
Not on ex parte application.
More on politics. Protesters have taken over the national headquarters of the People's Democratic Party in Abuja, throwing their support behind the acting national chairman of the party, Umar Damagun, and the Minister of FCT, Wike. The protesters, who displayed placards with inscriptions pledging support for Wike and Damagun, allege that some people within the PDP are trying to cause disaffection among the party's leadership. PDP has recently been marked by agitations from some of its members calling for the resignation of the National Working Committee over failure to lead the party aright. The development comes after the NWC, in a statement by the National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, passed a vote of confidence on the acting chairman, Umar Damagun, assuring its members of continued stability, growth, and success of the party. The decision of the NWC, which came at the end of its 584th meeting at the party's National Secretariat on Tuesday, is, according to the party, in commendation of the efforts and commitment of the acting national chairman to stabilize and reposition the PDP as the main opposition party in Nigeria. Gunshots on Wednesday rented the air when the governor, Usman Ododo, was departing the residence of a former governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, located at the Benghazi Street in Wuse Zone 4, Abuja. Officials of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had stormed Bello's residence at about 9:25 a.m. on Wednesday in a bid to arrest him. After hours of being unable to execute their mission, the operatives were reinforced with backup support from the police, Department of State Services, as well as from Counter-Terrorism Center. It was learned that they were planning to forcefully arrest him before the arrival of Ododo, who drove into Bello's compound with scores of protesters chanting solidarity songs against the operative siege. However, as Ododo was leaving the compound, it was gathered that Yahya Bello was in his vehicle, forcing security operatives who had been on standby for hours to open fire. Protesters, journalists, onlookers, and passers-by scampered for safety during the shootout. And now to the northwestern part of the country. Katsina State government has sealed the premises of 3 filling stations suspected of selling petroleum products to bandits and their collaborators. The measure, according to the government, followed a series of intelligence reports about the activities of the affected filling stations. The filling stations are Maimamadan Nigeria Limited, IMA Moscow, and Ajasco, located along Katsina Ring Road on JBA Road. Trust TV's Abdullah Yamadi tells us more.
The affected filling stations were sealed off during an unscheduled visit by the State Special Task Force on the Control of Essential Commodities, headed by Chief of Staff, Government House, Katsina.
We have been targeting the insurgents. Now we are targeting the collaborators. Those who sell fuel to insurgents are also collaborators, and they will be met with the same treatment as the insurgents. It is the intention of the government to locate these guys, so conduct an in-depth investigation and punish them accordingly.
He further pointed out that the government is unrelenting in ensuring that all efforts geared towards tackling insecurity are sustained, calling on residents to expose any unsuspecting element to assist in checking criminals and their collaborators. The task force, which drove to the suspected filling stations heavily armed, also arrested all staff on duty. Reacting, the IFMAN officials in Katsina State maintained that their members do not have any connections with the suspected bandits, affirming that they are law-abiding citizens pursuing their legitimate businesses. While we assure everyone that we are investigating this issue with a view to making our findings, we also want to inform the government that we are behind investigations that are devoid of any political motive. We want to assure the government that any issue that has to do with security will not be taken lightly by our association. Therefore, we want the government to make seamless investigation. However, IPMAN will not allow anybody, no matter how strong he is, to tarnish its image in the eyes of the public. The Katsina State IPMAN officials also advised the task force to investigate the issue with caution, as there may be mischief makers who are bent in tarnishing the image of petroleum marketers. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And now to the north-central part of the country. Some indigents of Gwere West local government area of Benue State on Tuesday evening blocked the Makurdi-Naka road to protest the recent killings in the council area. About 26 people in 3 communities were killed in the council area by bandits. The local government area chairman, Henry Agba, said the attack, which commenced on Saturday, lasted till Monday, leading to the death of 26 people, including 6 personnel of Benue State Community Volunteer and Livestock Guards. The protesters accused the state government of not implementing the anti-open grazing law. One of the protesters and former chairman of Gwer West Local Government, Francis Ayaga, called on the federal government to ensure the safety of his people. He alleged that the renewed insecurity in the area was as a result of the failure of Governor Hyacinth Alia's administration to enforce the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law of Benue State, which allows herders to move freely with their cows and arms, which are then used to attack the people. The federal government said the country needs 312,000 metric tons of seed to achieve food security, in 2024. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, disclosed this in Abuja on Tuesday during a high-level stakeholders forum on seed system development organized by Feed the Future Nigeria Integrated Agriculture Activity. Speaking on the theme, the minister, who was represented by the Director, National Food and Strategic Reserve, Haruna Suleiman, said the ministry have already outlined a series of critical pathways to solve the food security challenges in Nigeria. He said the Nigerian seeds development required partnership and synergy among all key stakeholders that would facilitate a model of collaboration built on knowledge sharing, skill exchange, expertise, competitiveness, and mutual benefit. The United States also said it has waded into the food scarcity raging the country, saying plans are underway to make available $3 million worth of food for people in the northeast region of Nigeria. Still on agriculture, farmers in Bauchi State have commended the efforts of the state and federal governments in the fight against koala bats in the state. The farmers made the commendation while speaking to Trust TV amidst preparation of the 2024 farming season. Trust TV's Adamu Imam completes the report.
As part of concerted effort to address the menace of koala bats attack, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture has assured farmers in the northeast region of adequate supply of pesticide in order to protect their farm produce from crops pests. According to the Bauchi State Government, the sum of 45 million naira has been approved for the procurement of agrochemicals in response to the recent outbreak of insects and pests in farmlands across some local government areas.
So efforts have been made even from the crop protection department to ensure that they too are controlled in order to protect our crops and to further prevent further spread to the other areas. For now, it was reported that it is in Kirfi local government, Alkaleri and part of the Fabode. To prevent the spread to other local governments, the federal government is making efforts to ensure that they control them right there and there.
One-to-one, like the director representing the minister has already emphasized, the birds that will be dropping and falling down as a result of that chemical should not be eaten, should not be consumed at all, even by dogs. Don't allow your pets and animals or even human beings to eat those birds.
Reacting to the development, some farmers in the state appreciated the effort, saying it's timely.
Alhamdulillah,
any effort geared towards tackling these koala bats is a welcome development because those notorious bats just appear and disappear. If the federal government can control them using the right approach, it will help in securing our food crops. We don't know where they usually come from to destroy our farms. We pray for better results to enable us achieve the desired objective so that we can be dependent through agriculture. The ministries say the move was to ensure timely and effective control of the outbreak, noting that scientists have estimated that 2 million koala bats can destroy 20 tons of grains in just 24 hours. However, they announced that the spray of agrochemicals will be conducted through aerial and ground control within the 9 local government areas of the state. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
The need to upskill the skills of internally displaced persons in order to make them self-sufficient has again been emphasized. This, stakeholders say, will reduce the burden of survival on themselves as well as on the government and other stakeholders, while also filling noticeable employment gaps with relevant skills. Neil Sampson has more.
Globally, there are over 68.5 million forcible displaced people, with Nigeria ranked behind Syria with 6.5 million IDPs and Colombia with 5.7 million IDPs. A large number of these IDPs are in urban areas, living in makeshift communities and outside the social system. As a result of living outside the protection of the social system, many of the IDPs cannot find regular employment and are forced to beg to survive. Stakeholders say to change this narrative, the displaced persons need an improvement in their skill set to be self-sufficient.
One of the major issues that has been an issue for the Commission is to see how members of the IDPs were provided with durable solutions. And how do we do that? We have to give them the skills. We cannot just ask them to live like that. If they leave, they become criminals. And that's why the Commission is out to ensure that it provides skill acquisitions to the people who are living in the IDPs so that they can live their life, so that they can fend themselves, so that they can also be appreciated by the society.
When you teach them to drive, which can take only 1 month, 2 months, they are through. Before you know what is happening, they can be recruited in any of the paramilitary, military, corporate organizations, even private. It is a ready field for employment. When you go to the agriculture, highest 3 months, if somebody venture into farming, you discover that in 3 months, harvest is up for the man that have gone into farming.
Some of the IDPs spoke on some of the skills they want government and other stakeholders to help them upskill.
We want them to help us in any other way around. All this is, training, driving, like me now, prefer training on the driving aspect. So, by God's grace, at least we'll have it, we should be grateful.
I want drive. I have 4 children. Train us farming, the farming food, farming chicken, all those things, driving.
Rearing of animals, yes, like cows and chicken and so on. This will help us a lot as a woman. I have been a housewife.
To help them overcome these challenges, the IDPs want policymakers to focus on helping them achieve self-resilience. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
This is a news update on Trust Television coming up after the break. Imo residents decry inflationary impact on medical supplies. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Let's take a look at our top stories again. Court affirms Ganduje's suspension as corruption hearing commences in Kano. PDP National Working Committee passes vote of confidence on Damagun. Protesters storm national headquarters. Moving on to more stories, Governor Ahmadu Fintiri of Adamawa State has set up a 15-member committee to investigate the fire incident that gutted a major market in Yola, the state capital, on Monday. A statement released by the Secretary to the State Government, Awal Tukur, showed that the committee has the Commissioner of Reconstruction, Rehabilitation, Reintegration and Humanitarian Services as chairman, while the Executive Secretary of the Adamawa State Emergency Management Agency will serve as secretary to the committee. Members include community and traditional leaders, security officials, relevant government officials, and representatives of affected traders. A raging fire in the early hours on Monday razed most shops and warehouses in the main market, of the ancient Yola town in Yola South local government area. The cause of the fire still remains unknown. Residents of Imo State have expressed displeasure with the amount of money spent on drugs and other medical consumables whenever they are seeking medical attention. Some of them, who spoke to Trust TV News in Awari, say they end up getting poor treatment due to the fact that they cannot afford the drugs prescribed for their treatment. Trust TV's Ajibada Praise tells us more.
Though there seems to be a reduction in the prices of certain commodities, especially food items in the market, following the Naira's appreciation against the dollar since the beginning of April, residents of the state are hopeful that the positive development will also be recorded in the prices of over-the-counter drugs and other medical supplies.
Paracetamol, I was buying it 70, 50, but now I got it that paracetamol is from 300 to 250, and things are not going well. I used to buy Pampers. Pampers I used to buy for 5,000. The same Pampers now will cost about 10,000. So and sometimes, as you can see, everywhere is just jaga. But I believe in God, nobody better than the drug have been doing so many. So even say, even when you sick, you have money to buy drug, what of food? So we are pleasing, maybe they should do something, because the way the drugs is going high, even us, even as we sick, we don't have money to buy the drug, we are still high, and it's been affecting us.
For these auxiliary nurse who also sell over-the-counter drugs, confirms that the cost has truly increased compared to what it used to be in the past. He narrated the difficulties residents of the state face in order to get treatment. While some of them express dissatisfaction with the situation, they are hopeful that succor will come their way soon.
I go for the original one. When I go for the original one, I will tell you, if the original one, because the difference cannot be too much. The difference, highest, the fake one may be 600, while the original one will be 800 or 700. It's better for you to go for that original one. The only thing, you add it a little money and give that person the pure treatment, and the person will get quick recovery. So that's why it's good for you to go for the original one. My advice to the government, I don't know what they can do, but let them try, let them keep trying. No, they are trying, but let them just put more effort. Pharmacists to survive.
While they express satisfaction with the positive projection in the economy that is now reflecting in the reduction of prices of commodities, the residents are expecting that such will be replicated in the health sector. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
On the international scene, the special representative of the Secretary General for Libya and head of the United Nations Support Mission in Libya, Abdullahi Batili, has tendered his resignation to Secretary General Antonio Guterres on Tuesday. Batili expressed his decision, citing significant challenges in his mediation efforts. He lamented that his attempts to foster dialogue and address concerns were met with stubborn resistance, unreasonable expectations, and indifference to the interests of the Libyan people. Batili, who assumed his role in September 2022, highlighted the crucial need for Libyan leaders to reach a political settlement through negotiations and compromise. He stressed the importance of prioritizing the aspirations of the 2.8 million registered Libyan voters over the narrow interests of a select few. And in sports, Brazil football legend Romario has announced that he is coming out of retirement at 58 to play for Brazilian side America Football Club in Rio de Janeiro. This comes 15 years after he quit playing the sport. During his playing career, Romario won the World Cup in 1994 and featured for Dutch side PSV and La Liga giants Barcelona. Romario has now registered himself as a player for America Football Club, where he serves as resident and also where his son, Romarinho, plays his football. In an Instagram post, he claimed that playing with his son and for his favorite team is his main motivation. The Brazilian legend will be paid a minimum wage at the club, but will return it to America as a donation, according to Marca. And with that, we've come to the end of the news update at this hour. But remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I'm Aisha Saliu. Thank you so much for your time. Join us again.